So what if a novel wasn't really a novel at all, but was actually a confession in disguise? That's the really cool experiment at the heart of Z.T. Tosha's book, The Invention of Andreas. It introduces us to a man who, get this, doesn't even exist, to tell a story that is painfully, devastatingly real.
Right from the jump, the author hits us with this haunting line. It totally sets the tone, right? A story about creation, about loss. It's almost like a ghost story from the very first sentence. It makes you wonder, who is this man built from borrowed bones? And who's the ghost left behind to tell us all about it?
So, the story kicks off and we meet our narrator. He tells us his name is Andreas Lundqvist Björk. He's our guide, and when you first meet him, he seems like a guy who has his story and himself completely under control.
And the author builds this incredibly detailed, really believable backstory for him. We learn he's from Sweden, that his father pushed him to learn numbers before he could even speak properly, which led to this terrible stutter. The only place he found any comfort, any voice, was in the stories his grandmother would tell him. He comes across as a super complex, philosophical guy, trying to find his place in the universe. He feels totally 100% real.
And the way he speaks, the way he narrates, it completely reflects that. When we first meet Andreas, his voice is so polished, so confident and academic. You feel like you're listening to a seasoned philosopher, someone who is in total command of every single thought.
But just when you're getting settled in, getting comfortable with Andreas, bam! The author just pulls the rug right out from under you, and this is where the whole experiment of the book really kicks into high gear.
All of this careful, meticulous character building, it's all designed to funnel you toward one single, unavoidable question. Is this guy, Andreas, even real?
And the answer, straight from the author's own preface, is a hard no. Andreas Lundqvist Björk is a complete fabrication. He's just a vessel, an invention. And that means everything you've just learned, the stutter, the grandmother, the whole philosophical vibe, it's all part of a performance.
So what is this book then? Well, the author, Z.T. Tosha, calls it a confession disguised as a novel. It's this hybrid thing that intentionally mashes up fact and fiction. The goal isn't to trick you, it's to make us think about how we all kind of perform our own identities, and to make us question what being authentic even means anymore.
Which, of course, brings up the biggest question of all. Why? Why go to all the trouble of inventing a fictional narrator to tell what is, at its heart, a story of very real pain?
Well, the author gives us a few reasons. Part of it is this idea that our own self is a kind of invention too. Creating Andreas also creates some distance, which helps make these raw, messy emotions readable. But the most crucial part is when the author admits that this fictional vessel, Andreas, could say things I could not. It's all about exploring that blurry line where the creator ends and the creation begins.
But just so we don't get lost in all the high-concept ideas, the author immediately grounds us. This isn't just some intellectual game. Behind all the construction, all the philosophy, there is real, profound pain. The grief is real, the void is real.
And here it is. This is the source of that pain. The author reveals that the emotional engine of the book comes from a real-life tragedy, losing a close friend to cancer. That loss shattered the author's entire worldview, and that's what sparked this whole project.
And that deep personal fracturing is mirrored in the structure of the book itself. The form is designed to reflect the content, so it's not just a story about falling apart, it's a story that literally falls apart right there on the page as you read it. The book is basically a structured descent. You start with Andreas' super-controlled, philosophical voice, but then you start to see cracks. The whole narrative starts to fracture, and then the author's real voice, Z.T. Tosha's voice, punches through the fiction. By the end, the whole idea of a novel is gone, and you're just left with these raw, unfiltered fragments, therapy transcripts, diary entries, just pure confession. The book completely unravels. So look, if you read this book and you start to feel a little lost or disoriented, that's the point. That's exactly it. The structure is meant to make you feel the narrator's psychological breakdown. In this book, the form is the subject. Okay, so after all of that, the invention, the confession, the way the book breaks down, what's the big takeaway? What's the central question we're supposed to be left with?
The author puts it right out there for us. This isn't about a true or false quiz. The real question is so much deeper. It's about authenticity. After all the performances, all the different masks we wear for the world, what's actually left underneath it all? What's the real core of a person?
And that's where the book turns the question right back on us, the readers.
In our world of social media profiles, personal brands, and carefully curated identities, it makes you look in the mirror. It's a heck of a final thought to leave you with. When you strip away your own performance, what really remains of you?